and welcome to the Podcast by Army podcast, where we talk about BTS, Army, fandom, and research. We are your co-hosts, Dr. Kate Ringland and
Jhertau Her, a university student.
Awesome. And today we are talking about Kim Namjoon. Happy birthday.
Kim Seokjin, Min Yoongi, Jung Hoseok, but mostly Namjoon because it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Namjoon. The love of our lives. Most iconic leader. Best leader, by the way. Best leader. That's his title. He owns that title.
Yes. As he
should. Okay, all you, Kate. All you.
All right. So we're starting with favorite song, which I already said off air. I don't think I can do it, actually. Pick a favorite song.
You don't think you could do it?
I don't.
Can we just, okay. How about instead we talk about, we could talk about his solo songs from the BTS discography and then any of the mixtapes or the album or Indigo. Is that more doable?
Wait, I could talk more broadly about what his music has done for me.
Okay, yeah, that's real. That's real. Okay. Yeah.
Because, do this without getting emotional. No, so Mono was one of the first BTS mixtapes that I listened to. I think that's true. I had listened to D2 briefly when I was very first getting into BTS because I was trying to figure out what was going on. But then the one I really listened to first, kind of religiously, was Mono. And Mono is still the album that I listen to for a number of reasons, but it's my, if I'm in a really dark place or really upsetting things are happening, it's the album I put on when I need that comfort music. But it's also the album I put on when it's a rainy day and I just want to sit with my hot chocolate and look at the rain out the window kind of a vibe. So it is multifunctional for me as an album. So, and that was one of that was very, very early on in my foray as an ARMY. And so I think that might have been one of those kind of epiphany moments where I'm like, wow, this is it for me. These musicians, and especially the guy that wrote these songs, is it for me. But yeah, I could wax poetic about all his music all the time. He's an amazing writer, lyric wise, he's amazing. And then the different sounds he puts together, and it's so much that I can't articulate it well. What about you?
No, I get you so bad because I also had a special attachment to Mono. Mono was that Mono was also my this is it moment. You know? I listened to it and immediately grew super duper attached to it. I made it my whole personality. Literally. Mm-hmm. My Twitter username used to be thinking of Mono. So I would be thinking of Mono all the time. And my YouTube channel is actually named after Mono too. It's M Thoughts.
Wow.
So M for Mono, Thoughts. But it's an oxymoron because mono means one and thoughts are plural. So it's an oxymoron. It's fun. But yeah, I also think it's very hard to encapsulate Namjoon's impact on BTS's music and just his music in general into one organized, easy packed thing. Because his music is so impactful and so complex as well. If you look at the dual set Bangtan translations for Trivia of Love, it's so long. It's extensive. there's people always talk about the Saram, and then I don't know how to pronounce it in Korean, but it's like the how the sides of your love like get shaved off or get rounded.
Right. The saram to saram. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's like the sorry, I'm just learning Korean seriously for the first time, so I can't explain this very well. But it's like the square character.
Yeah. So okay. So
yeah, go ahead, Kate.
So the word for people has the M sound at the end, and it's a rectangle. It's a little rectangle. And then if you all you do is change that rectangle to a circle, that means love.
Yeah.
So you're changing people changes to love if you erode the edges, which is the lyrics. And so I do this every time. So I have a shirt for people, the song People. I have a shirt that says people on it in Hangul. And anytime somebody's like, oh, what does your shirt say? Because, you know, people like to be like that. I don't just tell them, oh, this means people. I launch every time somebody makes a comment about my shirt, I launch to a whole explanation about people to love. I'm sure everybody just loves me for it. But yeah, so there you go. So it's to me, just him being a person that thinks about these things is just, my mind melts a little bit in awe.
Yeah. It's like I've like seen people say this before on Twitter, but it's like he's literally like a poet who became a rapper. And well, rapping is poetry in itself. There's a whole thing.
He's like truly living the poet life as a rapper.
He is. Yeah. And like rapping itself, like, okay, I have a controversial opinion because I love rap. And my favorite rapper is Kendrick Lamar. My favorite rapper is Kendrick Lamar. There are layers here going on, but I think
I don't even know what that means. Go ahead.
Okay, we're gonna have a conversation after this. But Kendrick Lamar, there's a lot of historical contextual things. So with rap and hip hop, Kendrick Lamar is like seen as like the modern kind of like he represents rap very well in kind of where it is now, and like the culture, you know, behind rap, and like Black culture as well. And he also doesn't, in some ways he represents it well, but also he doesn't, and it's like very nuanced, that type of conversation. But it's kind of my belief in a way that rap itself might even be like above poetry, or it might sit beside poetry instead of being looked at as like inferior to poetry. Because for sure, it's not just the words, it's not just the lyrics, it's also like thinking of how the rap works within the music and how that combines together. So Namjoon is one of those rappers where very much like the work that he does, it transcends even just word, just music. It's like the combination of that together makes his music so impactful in that type of way. He is like, I know, okay, there's a lot of people who like sing high praises for BTS and are just like, BTS they do everything and they're the best at everything. But like, I truly believe that Namjoon is like one of those rappers that like sits beside all the iconic rappers of our current generation, like 100%. And a lot of people may say no because he's like a Korean rapper and he's not like from the culture or whatever, but there's a whole other conversation we can have.
That's a whole other conversation.
He very much is like one of those people that like he represents and just does his music so well, and it's incredible. It's actually incredible. And I love him so much for that. Like everything, honestly. RM1, by the way, I know he doesn't talk about it. He doesn't even acknowledge it anymore, which is okay. Like as an art, like we're all artists, right? So like we all know how it feels. Like when we look at our old work, we're just like, I don't want to associate that with that anymore.
Yeah. I've moved on. I know that feeling.
Oh my god, even though RM1 is like life-changing, like actually life-changing. Listening to that. Oh my god, that is like, it's so cohesive from Namjoon's like, well, all the members are like this, but it's like from beginning to end, whenever they make like an individual project, it's so cohesive the whole way through.
Yeah. I love that so much.
Oh my God. It shows how they value music so much. They care, because there's so many musicians now that release albums and it doesn't matter what order you listen in.
Yeah.
But BTS care so deeply about the story they are trying to convey over an album. And I love it. I love Namjoon. Love his music. Yeah.
Yes.
We're connected through Mono. Oh my God.
This does not surprise me for some reason.
It doesn't. We're literally, there's sometimes where like my mom will be like, wow, you're like best friends with your professor. And I'm like, yeah, we kind of are. It's crazy.
What a world we live in.
What a world we live in. It's just that we both connect with BTS on the same level.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you don't meet a lot of armies where like you connect. Well, you may connect automatically with an army, right, when you first meet them. Yeah. But like being able to connect with an army on like the same level, where like you both intrinsically understand BTS on that level, it's like it's a relationship that you can't compare with.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
Because I have my mutuals and like that. And like those people that I know, like the relationship I have with them is so different from like the relationship I would have with like someone I know IRL who identifies as an army. Like it's so different.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. And we're all brought here together.
Yeah. I'm gonna say I think there's some interesting layers there, because I have people who I'm mutuals with that I'm actively like in smaller group chats and stuff with too, that I feel like we talk daily and we have a better understanding of each other than even the mutuals that I am more like active with on the timeline and stuff. Anyways, it's really fascinating, the different ways. And I also find it fascinating the different points in which people like find those connections, because like some people like, you know, connecting in different ways, but like at the end of the day, I feel like most of us are here for the music, right? And I think that is fascinating, the different ways people have kind of have entered the community and the ways that they like are inspired by, or the ways they interpret the music.
Oh, anyway. Definitely. Yeah. It just like it all goes back to Namjoon, first member of BTS who joined. It all goes back to Namjoon, first member of BTS, leader of BTS, iconic, father of K-pop. I'm just gonna keep saying that until it catches on. Okay.
All right.
I know people are just like, we don't care about K-pop. And I'm just like, well, if we're going to have to exist with K-pop, we might as well claim it and say Namjoon's the father of it. He literally, okay, there's a different topic for a different video going on here. But yeah, essentially, we love Namjoon. He's amazing. And okay, let's talk about some of our favorite things about Namjoon as well.
Yeah.
You want to go first?
Things. I'll go first.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a post-it of notes.
So cute.
Yeah. Okay. So it's just literally like one note. But the thing, and it's very related to what we were just talking about. But the thing that I think of first when I think about Namjoon and the things that he has, I mean, he's given us so much, but one of the many things that I love about him is how he has made being smart, and he has made not just intellectualism as like, oh, I can, you know, calculate numbers in my head, or I can, you know, I'm tech smart, or whatever the cool smart is right now. He is like, he brings intelligence to culture in a way that I find like, so like that kind of, you know, all the stuff he does with art and museums and, you know, all the things he's done with his Instagram account and stuff. Like he's just made that kind of just like subtle, I'm here and I am just absorbing the world and then I'm going to give it back to you in a beautiful way kind of. He's made that a thing that's one of the things I really love about him. And then relatedly, he has made nerdiness cool in a way that makes me feel valid. And I think that a lot of ARMY feel validated in the way that like we're here as ARMY, which kind of automatically makes us nerds in terms of like we're here to like nerd out about BTS and have you know kind of this font of random knowledge about BTS and be able to talk the drop of a hat about BTS in different ways. He has his own nerdiness that he, you know, like with the Pokemon and different things that like it feels like validating that we're all just kind of dorky nerds together in a way that isn't, you know, dismissive or I don't even know what. But yeah, so like just that general, you know, vibe makes me feel like it's okay for me to be here and to share the different things I've done and the different ways I can contribute to the world and appreciate the world and see beauty in simple things. And he kind of lets us all have the space for that.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's like his existence validates you as a person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also to go back to what you're talking about earlier too, like he makes culture so accessible and like art so accessible. Like it's kind of like how he was named as like an ambassador or something, or like recognized as an ambassador of the arts. It was in Vogue magazine. I don't remember exactly. But it's like he's like a patron of the arts and just because like he loves art, he loves culture so much, and then he just shares it with the world, which is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I can think of any like another celebrity figure at this moment who makes culture and art that accessible.
I don't know any other celebrities or public figures, so I really couldn't, but I agree.
No, yeah.
Well, but it's just like, it's like, and it's not in a way that's like in your face, right? It's just like, he's just like, hey, I'm out here. This is the life I've decided to live. This is how I'm going to be. And I'm just going to share that with you.
Yeah.
And I love the way that has, at least in the community that I have on Twitter and stuff, I love the way that kind of has fostered like this general, like lots of the people I follow and the people in my space all share their like pretty pictures and share the art that they're seeing.
Oh my God, yes.
I had a move that like went to Spain and she was sharing all of her like museum pictures and it felt like an okay space, even though this is technically, you know, ARMY space or whatever. Like everybody's sharing all this stuff they're doing out in the world and in this really cool way. And like the whole Sky for Namjoon thing was
yeah,
where everybody's just like, you know, here, you know, it's just very, very simple. Like here we are together in this under the same sky kind of stuff. And like
it's very beautiful.
But being able to kind of share that and connect across all these different things, and then art being one of those things that is truly global. Like it's one of those things that everybody can appreciate. So
definitely. Yeah. To like add on to that as well, I was gonna say my favorite thing about Namjoon was Namjooning.
Namjooning, yes, thank you. That was the direction this was going. It's like the, you know, when I'm out or like I travel like for work and stuff, right? It's like I always make sure to take a day to do something, you know, to go Namjooning essentially. Am I going to go to a museum or if I'm just going to go to a park or whatever? Yeah, for sure.
It's so healing. Like
it is.
It makes you feel like I've done Namjooning a lot. You know the one audio, there's an audio on TikTok and Instagram Reels where it's like Namjooning and it's like when he's reading the definition of Namjooning and then people put clips of them Namjooning. And I've done that multiple. That's so cute. I've made multiple Namjooning videos because it like there's something so Namjoon about it and it represents him so well. Like I remember when I first entered the fandom, I said I like Namjoon because he likes trees. And it continues to be true. It continues to be true. He is just the most warm, kind tree in the forest.
Yes.
And he provides shade for everyone and it's beautiful and it's wonderful. And I love him.
Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite Namjooning moment?
Oh my God. I can't answer that. That's like I was trying to find a favorite song.
I actually I
Oh,
know, but
you
I
do?
actually
Okay.
I have
Oh
a
my
unique
God.
question.
Share.
Yeah. Okay.
You did it.
I have the ultimate answer that will probably never ever change for the rest of my life.
Yes.
So I was in Seoul for a conference, for the BTS conference, coincidentally. And
Ooh.
I stayed a few extra days. And on one of the days, I went to the Hyde Museum and did all that. And that was fun. That is actually not the part that stuck out for me. The part was after I did the museum and I said goodbye to my friends and I was on my own, I walked across the bridge that was right there by the museum. And in the center of the Han River was like a little island, kind of like in the middle of the bridge. And you could take the stairs down to this island, and it had a bunch of trees, and you could kind of get down on the grass, kind of right by the river. And so I walked over there. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know any of this at the time. I was just wandering. I was just like, I'm just gonna wander around Seoul for a little while, even though it was ridiculously hot because it was July. Anyway, so I wandered down these stairs and I found this park on this little island, and I stuck in my headphones and put mono on and was just sitting by the Han River under the trees, watching everybody go by. There were people out running and walking and with their dogs and whatever. And I was just sitting there on this island in the grass, watching the people go by next to the river and listening. And I just sat there and listened to the whole mono album. And that is my favorite Namjooning moment. Like I said, it'll never change. That yeah. That was one of those memories. I'm like, I'm really glad that in my life I got to do this. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. Oh my God. I want to go Korea so bad. Oh my God. It's like if I don't get to go in my lifetime, what's the point? What's the point? Like this is kind of like a meta, like this is like side story, but like I'm trying to figure out how to study in Korea right now. It's kind of expensive, but I want to do it so bad. Like if I don't get to, I don't know what's the point anymore. It's like I don't know. It's like this whole conversation of Namjooning. Like Namjooning to me is like so close to my heart. It's like
Yeah.
It's like one of those things like when you're in army and you like understand it so intrinsically and like you apply it to your own life as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It makes me emotional talking about it because I love Namjooning and I love going out and Namjooning and just like taking pretty pictures. Especially because we're in Santa Cruz, so like it's beautiful there already. And
yeah, that's true.
Oh my God. It's so amazing. But yeah, that's me being awe and marveling about Namjoon. He is amazing. He's the best of us, honestly. And when the aliens come and they want to take over Earth, we'll protect him.
Yes.
Take me instead. Take me instead. Don't take him. It's like take us to your leader, and we're like, nah.
You can't have it.
No, you can't. Too bad. So sad. Should have come here earlier, but he's ours now. So, but yeah, I love him, and I love Namjoon so much. But I really hate it when people try to act like they can overstep that love and try to control him. You know what I'm talking about, Kate, right? Like, there's like the whole conversation of like on solo stands as well. Like I know we're talking about like how much we love Namjoon, but there's also like a lot of people who try to act like they love Namjoon, but they like overstep and they try to be controlling of his career, of his life, and of who he is as a person too. And I know we talked about this in Jungkook episode as well. We're like we're very anti-solo stan. We're both armies. We're only army. BTS's fans are only army. There's no other people who are fans. It's like you're an army or you're a casual stan. That's it. And other than that, that's life. And I feel like Namjoon in particular, a lot of people don't see his solo stands, or they don't think his solo stands exist.
I don't. I honestly cannot remember a moment where I've interacted with one or seen one ever. So take it away.
Yeah. Well, while that is true that there's like not a lot of them, it's still like they're very interesting in how they try to establish themselves close to arminess, even though they're solo stands. They're I feel like out of all the solo stand groups for each of the members, RM solo stands, I hate having to attach Namjoon's name to it. Whatever. That's a whole other thing. There's no way to detach the name, but I don't want to give them their own name or anything either. I hate that thought. But essentially, like RM's Namjoon solo stands, they try to be in proximity of arminess, but then they're even though they're trying to be close to arminess, their victimization of the member and like attempts to control the member are still there. So I think the existence of RM solo stands is super interesting because they try to I don't know if I can speak about, but behind the scenes of the fandom, they try to work with different army groups and try to act like army, but they still victimize in everything. So they're very much like they try to be close to army, but then they're not army. And
Right.
I don't know. I'm not scared of Namjoon solo stands. They're in particular, they're basically the opposite of Namjoon. They're not very bright. They're this goes back to kind of how every solo stand is the complete opposite of the member they supposedly love. Which is very interesting how it's opposite. Because
Yeah,
you
that's
think
funny.
it wouldn't be, but it is because those people they don't understand the member and they misinterpret that member. So that way they can
Yeah.
carry out whatever agenda they have. So RM solo stands in particular, they are not the brightest light in the world. And then Jin solo stands, they're not funny at all. They're completely boring, dull people. And then Yoongi solo stands, Yoongi is like the sweetest, kindest person in the world, has the biggest heart to give to everyone. And then his solo stands, not his solo stands, we don't claim them. Those solo stands don't belong to him. They don't actually love him. I'm gonna say this: Yoongi solo stands. I hate that we have to attack. Okay, I'm just gonna say the members' name in like their proper media name, like Suga, their stage names, and like that, and then solo stand because I don't want to attach their name to the solo stands because the solo stands are not even they don't even love the member at all. But Suga solo stands in particular, they're vile. They're like evil and
Yeah.
mean, and they're like they like, do clapbacks and they try to seem super duper cool and like I don't care about anything, but Yoongi cares a lot about many things in the
Oh my
God.
God, he cares
And
so much. Yeah.
he is so kind and so caring. And I in particular I hate how Suga solo stands they try to associate with him when they're not even like him at all. It's
Right.
like this they have this whole idea of him that's not even him. It's it is actually okay for each of the members. It's insane. And
Yeah,
then
I feel
for
like that's true of all of them. It's like they just don't
yeah,
even they live in some other kind of reality that they've created where it's like not even the people anymore. It's their own, their own doll-like version of whoever they think they're
yes.
standing.
Yeah, it goes back to the whole control thing as well.
Yeah,
And it's like
yeah.
how J-Hope solo stands are like not positive ever. Or like they also like don't oh my god, I have a whole thing to pick with J-Hope solo stands. They're also you know how J-Hope is a very meticulous person
Yeah.
and J-Hope solo stands aren't meticulous at all. A lot of them this happened I think last year. There's like a lot of them like try to brigade the Bangtan subreddit. Brigading is by the way is like where a bunch of on Reddit specifically is when a bunch of people try to jump and dogpile a thread or a person. And it's called brigading and you can't do it to a server. It's in the Reddit rules actually. And it's within like Reddit, like the culture of the site as well, that if you brigade, you're
Yeah.
kind of like, a piece of work.
Right.
And a lot of J-Hope solo stands did it. And I was like, what's wrong with them? Honestly. And then that's how J-Hope solo stands are. And then Jimin solo stands, disgusting, horrible
They're
people.
scary. They're
They
super
are
scary.
scary.
I've like spent way too much time interacting with them. They're scary.
There is not an ounce of like kindness in
Yeah.
them. Well, Jimin is like an angel. He is like
Yeah,
the
truly.
most kind and like most gentle person you will ever meet. And
Yeah,
then the solo stands are just awful.
yeah.
And then
So gross.
there's V. Honestly, all of V's, so not I'm not gonna say V's. It's not his. He does not claim them. It's all the solo stands that act like they do love V. All those
Yeah,
people, I feel like they're all just visual stands at that point because none of them have a grasp or understanding of his music or who he is as a person at all.
listeners can't see my disgusted face right now.
Yeah, Kate's very disgusted. So also with like this whole layover, like how Layover is being released right now with Love Me Again and Rainy
Yeah,
Days, like these solo stands are proving that they don't know V at all.
right.
And they are just disgusting and horrible. I hate them. And then there's Jungkook solo stands that are just I don't even know how to describe them. They're like it's like it doesn't even feel like they know who Jungkook is. It goes back to like what you're talking about as well. Like it's like the idea of Jungkook. It's like the
Yeah,
idea of the member. It's not even the member at that point.
right.
It's because I feel like how not people, but like solo stands describe Jungkook is so devoid of any understanding of who he actually is as a person. And it's like
Yeah,
they default him as like some generic pop star or celebrity and not as
right.
like
And we've
this.
seen that a lot, especially since Seven, of just
Yes,
like, it's like, you know,
completely stripping him of his culture, completely stripping him of
yeah.
like his history as a musician. It's it's crazy. So yes, in this Namjoon birthday episode, we're gonna talk about how we hate solo stands because honestly, it feels the most appropriate with how
Right.
Namjoon is the leader of BTS. Just recently this morning, there were a bunch of V solo stands trying to twist Namjoon's words because he had a live recently where he talked about BTS being together in 2025. And
Right.
the V solo stands are somehow convinced that that V is not gonna re-sign with Big Hit. They're somehow convinced. And they were like, oh, this guy, this RM, this guy, he doesn't know V. He doesn't know. I'm like, if there's anyone that knows Tay better than Tay, it's Namjoon. Let's be real.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it's
Yeah, they just live in a different reality than we do.
they do. It's completely fabricated and false and just oh my god. Yeah. We love Namjoon. And BTS will be seven. And BTS are seven. And that's just the
Yes.
fact of the matter. Oh, also, sorry, I didn't even talk about this, but RM Silistans in particular, they try to act like their army and that then they'll like victimize. But also something they do is that to identify that they're an RM solo stand to other solo stands, is they'll use the word army, so ARMY, army, right? We're armies. We are army. And then they'll capitalize the R and the M in army. So it's still the word army, but they capitalize R and M to indicate that they are a solo stand to other solo stands. So they can't be filtered out. They can't be searched for. It's just when you see it, you have to be able to identify it.
So you're saying I've probably interacted with a lot of these people and I just don't even know it because I can't even tell them apart from regular army. Is that what you're saying?
Honestly, possibly. For me personally,
Possibly.
I don't believe there's a lot of Namjoon solo stands in the first place anyway. Because again,
Yeah.
he is the leader. If you are a Namjoon solo stand, you are just very you are not the brightest of the bunch. You are but you are not the brightest light bulb in the building.
Definitely not living in like any kind of reality because I don't know how you can like solo out the like leader of a group. That's the weirdest thing ever. Like
Yeah.
legitimately, that's very weird.
And
Like the logic one has to live in to make that work.
there's crazy people everywhere. Yeah, for all
They're
the
there.
members, there are crazy fans who try to act like they're army, but they're really solo stands.
Yeah.
And in particular for Namjoon, it's a little crazy to do that because he's the leader, as Kate was saying. and just not cool. It's not cool. So yeah, if you the other BTS members and you only like one member, you are basically going against what the member themselves says. And that's a little embarrassing. Because why aren't you listening to them? That's the real question.
Yeah.
Why aren't you listening to them?
Yeah.
Like how, oh my God. It's like how so many other people don't listen to the members and like, but when it comes to this whole conversation about how the members are like victimized by people and like that, it's really important to actually listen to their words. And it's important to actually listen to their words and what they say, because like, especially like I think when reading Beyond the Story, the book that BTS came out with for their 10th anniversary, there's so many things that the BTS members say that's so important. Like what they faced, especially when they faced, I think we can talk about this here, especially when it comes to Namjoon, like what they faced when they entered the Western music industry. Insane. People, the most racist, xenophobic, vile things they can say, and the way they can act and like other the BTS members. Ooh, I hate it. And I hate how Namjoon has to be so close in proximity to that because he understands English fluently. So he like sees it way more, or like he feels it way more than like the other members might because of the language barrier. And I feel so bad in that aspect because it's like such a amazing thing to be fluent in a language and to know it. But when you know it and then like knowing it, kind of like you have to be subjected to like knowing how people act towards you. Ooh. Ooh. There's so many instances. Kate, take it away. What instance do you want to talk about with BTS like entering the West and people just being the worst towards them?
Yeah, I have a fun story. It's not a fun story. It's a sad story. But
no, that's fine.
No, there's one of those videos. It's one of the videos that gets shared a lot when these kinds of conversations come up about BTS being in the West. But I just remember that when I was very, very, very new ARMY, so I wasn't even on Twitter yet. And I had started to like my TikTok timeline was basically all BTS at that point, and I started branching out and like doing Google searches and stuff because I knew I was not getting the full story on TikTok.
Yeah.
And, kind of like, I need more information, so I'm going to be Googling their names and stuff. Anyway, so one of the very first videos I saw was that one of them walking through a crowd. I think it
was an award show.
Yeah, it was an award show, but in the US.
Oh, I remember. It was Billboard. It was Billboard.
Hello. Once again, it is future Jhertau filming a correction. It was not the BBMAs. It was the Variety Hitmakers Brunch in 2019. You can actually find the video where the lady says this comment about BTS wearing makeup on the Variety Twitter account at VARIETY. It's with hashtag Hitmakers, entrance of the decade, at BTS_TWT, so BTS is Twitter, and then a purple heart emoji. It happens around 15 seconds in the video. This lady goes, makeup, 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 and there's a bunch of other things she says that you can't really hear that well. She goes, makeup, 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 and then she says, Jesus Christ. So back to the podcast.
And they were so they were walking, they had just come off out of the wherever, and they were walking through a crowd. And you can just hear this woman really loud, because she must have been standing next to the person taking the video or whatever. And she just kept saying something like, oh my God, why are they wearing makeup? And why do they have so much makeup on? And it was just like this really toxic, gross stuff she was saying. And that was like one of the very first videos I saw of like, especially of them interacting in a Western context. And I was a little bit like, one, I was horrified. And two, I was like super embarrassed, because it's just like, that's, it'd be one thing if that was like a one-off, but it's just like, I know that there are tons of Americans, we'll just say, that have that same reaction, and kind of that toxic masculinity thing going on with like not, it's kind of like the weird thing that we do in this country where we like hyper feminize Asian men but also like find any voluntary feminization as like threatening in some bizarre way. I don't know. I just find the whole thing is like super weird. But yeah, so then from that video, I ended up watching some of the like the Western media interviews and stuff that they'd done with them. And I just was like, at some point I had to just stop and find different content because man, like some of the like especially the award show, like when they were over here for the award shows and stuff, and trying to think of the like Ellen DeGeneres and stuff, doing just like really awful interviews, saying
I
some
hate
really
that one.
really asinine things, and you're just like, just really embarrassing as like a white person. I am embarrassed for all of us in our terrible behavior. So
that's so interesting to hear you talk about it as a white person, because like as someone who's Asian American, it's like the whole experience of being Asian American.
right,
like,
right.
Just like, and also from like Asian men themselves. I'm an Asian woman, so I can't really speak on this 100%. But like Asian men themselves have the same internalized like misogyny and like hatred towards like feminine Asian men. And it's interesting to see like both our perspectives combining in this conversation, because like when BTS are feminized, I see that more from like an Asian perspective of like this hatred and rejection of like feminine traits, and like in Asian culture, right, like the man of the household, and the whole aspect of like, oh, if you don't like rise to the if you're not like a masculine man, because there's like this whole thing like today with Asian men. It's like this whole like, oh my God, I don't know how to describe it. It's like this movement or something about like Asian men needing to be like more manly or something. And yeah, ew, because it's like you just need to be yourself and be who you are. You don't need to be more manly, quote unquote, more manly or anything. You just be who you are as a person, and that's what matters. But it's interesting to see like the contrast of BTS themselves. And there's like multiple layers going on here. With like BTS are like not Asian American. They are from the homeland. they're from they're actually from Asia. But then being subjected to racism when they come to America, it's like all of that just combining. There's like so many layers going on here. Sorry, I'm like getting lost in the layers. There's just like
it's okay.
Too many things going on at once, where like BTS are feminized, yet they're like comfortable with like their gender expression and like who they are as people, which is so powerful, by the way.
Super. Yeah.
And then there's like the racism towards like coming like entering into America, which is like a white majority society. And then like also not even just like how white people respond to BTS, but also how like Asian American people respond to BTS. Because I know a lot of Asian American men who vehemently hate BTS because they don't think BTS like represent how they want an Asian man to look like. And there's like a lot of those Asian men are like still subscribed to this idea manliness that does not exist within the realm of BTS, because BTS are like feminine yet masculine yet also comfortable in like who they are as people. And I'm getting lost in the layers, Kate. So whatever you want to go ahead.
No, I mean, I think those are all good points, right? And I think that like, I don't know. I mean, I obviously have a very removed perspective in some ways because I don't know. I see it happening, but it's not impacting my internal state in any way. I don't know. I have a hard to describe it. To me, I will say that one of the very first things I thought of when I started really getting into BTS was I was excited and grateful to find 7 Asian men that clearly, were confident in themselves and comfortable with themselves and willing to share that with the world and be role models. I was excited for that because I've got 2 half Asian kids. And so like for me, there was this moment of like, oh, thank goodness there are going to be people in their future that they can look up to, and and it's not just all this other toxic garbage that's happening in the world right now. And so So for me, a lot of my consumption of the Western media around BTS has been kind of filtered through this lens of, one, yes, I am a white woman who has to like own the fact that, you know, we behave this way and it's horrible. And two, seeing it through this lens of how it's impacting how this kind of rhetoric, and not specifically about BTS themselves necessarily, but how this rhetoric and how the ways in which this kind of filters down to other parts of society, how it's impacting my husband and my kids, and how this is going to be shaping tomorrow's society, and how, what is the society that my kids are growing up in, that this, it's still okay to have media interviews like this, or it's still okay for people to talk like that in public around other people, like it's still okay to think these things about other people. And so for me, there's also a lot of layers and nuance there in terms of like, you know, I grew up as a young white person. I grew up thinking, oh, society is getting better, but it often doesn't feel that way in reality anymore. And so there's been kind of this, you know, shift in, especially since 2020, in how visible this stuff is. And I actually am somewhat grateful for BTS in helping, even though it's kind of sucky and terrible for them, but it has made a lot of this stuff even more visible.
They make the world a better place.
Yeah, they do, truly.
Yeah. It's interesting to hear you talk about how you think it'll impact your kids, because in a way, like, I've experienced a life where I didn't have any Asian role models. Yeah. So like, I'm Asian American, I'm Hmong American, so I'm Hmong. We're in a minority ethnic group from Southeastern Asia, and my parents, they came over after the Vietnam War, both when they were really young children, because they're refugees, because, you know, the war happened. And then if you want to look it up, there's a whole history. We could spend a whole episode talking about our backgrounds, but like the Hmong American, like Hmong people came to the US and to other countries in the world because of the Vietnam War, and then all of them were refugees. And when my parents grew up, they grew up not knowing English at all. Like, my dad doesn't even talk to me about growing up in America, because I think it might have been really hard for him, and that's why.
Yeah.
But my mom has talked about it with me, and it's like not knowing English and having to grow up that way. And then they have me when they get older, and then they have me. And I grew up at a time where like my only Asian role model was like Asian YouTubers. Like,
right.
Like, I didn't even see Asian actors as role models. And there's like no Asian American musicians that I see visibly all the time. Like, and I grew up like that. And there's a lot of like Asian actors who I have opinions, where a lot of Asian, I feel like there's some Asian actors that are popular now that have benefited by basically appropriating culture from the Black community, which I am not okay with. And I have very complex feelings about that, because this person represents me as an Asian American, but also I dislike that they represent me in that capacity. But yeah, I didn't grow up with Asian role models at all. So having BTS, I remember I told my parents like how I like BTS, and then they're like, "Oh, we're glad you like an Asian boy band." Like, that there's like someone Asian that you like, because I used to like anime, and they're like, "Okay, you like something that's Asian," but liking like an Asian boy band, like an Asian celebrity, like, just like as an Asian American person, being able to now say that like I like someone who like looks like me, and also who's from the homeland, like, who's from Asia, and like, it's because there's a whole other conversation with like Asian American people rejecting the homeland and all that. We could spend a whole episode on this. Yeah. Really, but like loving someone who is so comfortable in like being Asian, being Korean, and like loving that they're Korean and never rejecting the fact that they're Korean. Like,
right.
That makes me, like, when I was a little kid, like, it was really hard being Asian. There's sometimes where I hated being Asian because, like, you get bullied and you get othered.
Yeah.
And it's really hard growing up like that. But, like, seeing BTS and, like, being able to embrace them and seeing so many other people embrace them, it's like, BTS have given me such a gift in, like, loving themselves. Like, them loving themselves makes me want to love myself. And like their album series, Love Yourself.
It's almost like they're trying to tell you something.
It almost is. And they're amazing in that aspect. That was a lot, Kate, but whatever you want to reflect on and think about.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, no, that's I think about that a lot because I like have talked to my husband a lot about how he grew up, and he also had zero role models. Like the few Asian actors that he grew up watching and stuff were the same ones I grew up watching, and there's like 2 of them, right? So like there's just like it's just like few and far between, and there's just like really no real role models out there, right? And so I truly, like, all of that was in my head when I was like, man, this is actually something I can get my kids into, and they love watching BTS music videos with me and stuff. And so it's been really nice to have that I can actually share most of that with them.
Your kids are gonna grow up so healthy emotionally.
I hope so. Like, it's been really great actually, because I've actually used some of BTS songs for like life lessons and stuff. Like what's a good example of
that's such a mom thing to do.
I know, I'm totally a mom. No, like my oldest, he was getting super frustrated about something, and I was like, this, I was like, no, you just gotta be patient. You'll get through it eventually, and this too shall pass, kind of a thing. And I'm like, oh, there's a song. And so then we were listening to Everything Goes, and since this is a Namjoon episode, and so then we were talking about, and I was like explaining the lyrics to him, and so like now we have that as a song that we talk about when things are frustrating and we need for them to pass. Anyways, so I do use BTS a lot in my personal momming.
BTS parenting by Kate.
Yeah.
It's like gentle parenting, but with BTS.
BTS. Yeah. So I don't know. I just like, and I'm just really grateful that they have made themselves available as a resource for that. Because I truly feel like there's so much garbage out there, and there's so much toxic crap that it's nice to have something that's fairly reliable in terms of its wholesomeness.
Yeah. It's so wonderful that knowing that there will be young Asian kids who will not feel like they can't be Asian. Oh my God.
It's a really nice future to think about, right?
Yeah. It's like, oh my God. There's like the uniting Asian American experience is like not wanting to be Asian for a period of your life.
Yeah.
And knowing that there will be kids who grow up who won't feel that, I might start crying. Ooh, I might start crying. That's actually
like for real. When they were giving their speech at the White House, I was legit in tears. I was so, I don't know. There was just like so much like
BTS fighting.
This is just like something that like, it has nothing to do with your taste in music. It has nothing to do with whether you're a fan or not. It's just like they're out there being these wholesome, good, confident Asian men, and they're doing it intentionally to be role models for other people. And
they could have said no. They could have not gone to the White House.
Exactly.
They could have, but they did. And that's, it's so meaningful. It's so meaningful. I might start crying. I'm sucking it in. I'm sucking it in, Kate. It's okay. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. Future gonna be okay. No, but like that's another example of like taking lessons from BTS's music. Everything goes. Future D-Day. Future's gonna be okay.
Yep. There's so much there. There's so much there.
There is. We love it. I love Namjoon.
Yeah.
Him talking at the UN in 2017, talking at the UN again with all the other members in 2020, not 2020, 2021, 2020, 21, 2020. No, 2020 was the class of BTS, was the YouTube live stream. Different thing.
Yeah, which was also very good.
Very
If you have not watched that yet, listeners, go watch it right now. Stop whatever. Well, okay, you're listening to this. Wait for this to end and then go watch.
Yeah, and then go watch it. It's really good. But so like good. When they talked about the 75th, it was the 2021 75th UN assembly. That was so meaningful. And then talking at the White House, that I remember when the news dropped that they would talk at the White House, I was like, I don't believe that. Okay, cool. Disinformation, guys. I can't believe it once again. It's like the Jungkook motorcycle thing. Do you know about the Jungkook motorcycle thing? There was basically a bunch of big accounts that tested how quickly disinformation spread, and they said Jungkook had a motorcycle, and then it spread, and people were like, "He has a motorcycle," and then they like revealed to everyone it was disinformation. They're like, "See how you guys don't fact check things?" I don't know. It was a weird way to make a point. It was a weird way to make a point.
I like, as an academic, I have a lot of feelings about that, actually.
Yes.
They're mostly negative, in case you're wondering. I feel like that's so unethical. Like, so unethical.
You don't do like, what's it called? Like tests on a community that you're a part of.
You really shouldn't. You should not be doing.
That's it's a social experiment. You don't social experiment on your community.
It's so unethical. It's like incredibly unethical because like it just this is why academics have a bad name, because like that. You have to bleep that. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But like for real, it makes me so mad because it's just like healthy care of your community is like your top priority, and if you're intentionally injecting your community with disinformation or bad information, and then okay, just like imagine it this way: you've like put bad information out to a community, but do you have any means of like stopping that bad information once it's out there? No, because once it's out there, it's gone. It's going to get like reposted and tweeted out to everyone, and it's going to end up places you can't even imagine because people screenshot and stuff, and then there's no like, that's it, because there's no way you're going to be able to make sure you covered everyone who got that bad information. You're not going to be able to find them all again to give them the good information to fix it, right?
Yeah.
So like, sure, saying Jungkook has a motorcycle is like a super innocuous thing, but you can see how that gets dangerous really, really quickly. And it's just like you're just using people, and you're going to make people feel used. Like I feel used, and I wasn't even part of that. Whatever, like that didn't even happen to me, and I still feel icky thinking that somebody could do that to me. And I just, it makes me so mad because then when I am out there as an academic, which I try to be fairly transparent, I'm like out there being transparent about myself as an academic, I have people that come after me and like, oh, you're just here to do experiments on me and stuff. I'm like, I don't do experiments. That's not my thing. That's literally not the methods I use. But like, that's why people feel that way, because people are out there doing garbage stuff like that and making people feel unsafe. And I hate that. So thank you, JK motorcycle people.
Yes.
For ruining my day.
Making a terrible point. Yeah, I think about that all the time. That's why when the news with the White House first dropped, I was like, okay, guys, good joke, haha, funny, haha, they're going to the White House. And then I saw the videos and I was like, oh, they're going to the White House. Big hit. Big hit. They made a Weverse announcement about it, and that's how I knew, oh, it's not a joke. Okay. That's a lot to emotionally process. Yeah, I think I cried. And then I cried when it happened. That's so real. And then it's like a lot of crying and it was very amazing to see them speak at the UN at the White House though.
I think I ended up writing a whole blog post about it because I was I needed to put my feelings and thoughts somewhere. about it.
Yeah. It was so much to emotionally process, because you can have whatever political beliefs you have, but BTS speaking, like, in a government capacity in any type of way, as celebrities, as artists, not even just they're artists. Let's be real. They're artists.
Yeah.
They're
artists.
Global ambassadors for good at this point. And them getting to have that type of platform to speak is incredible. And oh my God, I don't know how, if I was, bro, if I don't know how, like I know like a lot of Korean art, like K-armies talked about how they felt about it, but like knowing that someone like that you support and you love is able to go that far, oh my God, that's so, that makes me emotional. It's okay. I'm getting emotional because I'm one of the people who gets to contribute to the US charts, and I'm just like, oh, okay, we're working through it. Yeah. They're incredible, amazing people, and they should get a talk everywhere. Invite them every year at this point. Also, here's the thing. BTS could have said no. They could have said no. I think they paid for their whole entire trip to the White House too. There's like an article about that. I'm gonna fact check myself in the future.
Hello, past Jhertau. This is future Jhertau editing right now. I would just like to say that you were right. BTS did pay for their entire White House trip. In this article from NME, which stands for News Media Entertainment.com, it says BTS reportedly paid for their trip to the White House themselves. And this article is by Angela Patricia Susil. And in this article, it talks about, it has since been reported that the boy band paid for their own journey to the White House. According to Washington Post contributor Suyeon, the journalist claims that paying for their own trip was, quote, something the boy band wanted to do, end quote, citing unnamed sources from the White House. This is exactly what Suyeon's tweet says, at LALASOO, Lalasso on Twitter. Oh, I asked if BTS paid for the trip or the White House paid, and it was BTS. They paid their own way. This was something they wanted to do, per White House sources. And this was on May 31st, 2022. So yeah, past Jhertau is right.
But I do think that, I do think there was something about, them paying their own, because of security and stuff, they had to pay for all the security. I don't know. Anyways, check that. Yeah.
But they went, and they didn't have to go, you know? Like, they could have done, like, that. What time period was that? That was like, what? June 2022. Oh my God.
Oh, that's right.
There's more context.
That was only a year ago?
Yeah, but it's June 2022. That's when BTS were preparing for Proof.
Yeah, it was right in the middle. That's right. It was right in the middle of like our
Festa.
Ready for Festa and stuff. Yeah.
I think they went to the White House, and then a couple days later Proof was released.
Yeah. No, that's right. That's
right. They could have been in Korea. They could have been, because it takes so long to travel from Korea to the US. And they could have been in Korea practicing, because they had the music show performances for Korean armies that they did for youth and like that. They could have been practicing. They could have been fine-tuning things. They could have been doing anything else, but they made room in their schedules very intentionally to go to the White House and speak on anti-Asian hate crimes. And I think that proves kind of how BTS are like very intentional, and they're very they know their impact, and they know like what they can do, and they use their platform in such a good way. Oh, it makes me emotional.
I know. I like this whole podcast episode has made me very emotional.
Yeah. That's Namjoon though. Namjoon himself, just him existing makes me emotional. Like, I know we had like the Jungkook episode, and Jungkook makes me like so ecstatic and happy to live life and like live life freely. Yes. When I reflect on Namjoon, I'm just like, oh my God, my whole life flashing before my eyes. like Jungkook is like the youth in me, and Namjoon is like the self-reflective, oh my God, my life type of in me.
Mm-hmm.
I love how each member brings out something from all of us.
It's true. That is very true, and they all evoke something very different, which is like kind of amazing when you think about it.
It is. And I will forever love all of the members for everything they do.
Yes.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful we're able to be armies and love BTS. Just
oh my God. Imagine that like the timeline happened so that we could be here alive at the same time as BTS.
It's beautiful. It's genuinely so beautiful. All right. I guess coming up to an hour and 30, so we've been here a while. Kate, any final thoughts for the
podcast? Final thoughts. Happy birthday, Namjoon. I hope it's a wonderful birthday. This was a lovely episode. I'm going to go listen to Mono after this.
Yay! Me too, actually.
And then I'm going to go listen to Indigo. And then I'm going to be like, how on earth does he think he's going to be making a project that is 5 times better than Indigo?
He's going to take his shirt off. I swear to God. He's going to do it.
Please don't say that. I will faint.
This is Future Jhertau again. Just to give some context, Kate and I recorded this episode before Namjoon posted his gym picture of his shirtless back. So we thought we were safe during that time. And also, yes, I do acknowledge Yoongi has gone shirtless in his pictures to Instagram, but he has never shown us his torso. So we're still counting that as him not showing us him shirtless. And we are safe, and Yoongi will keep us safe forever. Okay, back to the episode.
No, I actually believe if he says 5 times better, I'm like, there's nothing that can be better than this other than a shirtless Namjoon.
Other than him, his torso? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. No, but he's the only member left. Because Hobie, he like wore like that very revealing top to Fashion Week. And then
this is true.
Vogue photo shoot. And then Jimin Set Me Free. Jungkook is Jungkook. Jin, Instagram pictures. So Namjoon. Oh no, Yoongi. No, Yoongi also. No, he didn't. Yoongi didn't.
Yoongi's gonna keep us safe forever. I'm so grateful.
I trust Yoongi. I trust him.
Like
he'll never
the fact
betray
that he
me.
Like lifted his t-shirt up off his shoulder and then flexed his bicep. That was enough. I don't need any more from him.
No,
that was plenty.
I trust Yoongi, but I feel like my life is threatened by Namjoon right now. I feel like he's gonna pull something.
Yeah, that is quite dangerous now that you've mentioned it out loud. Thank you for that mental image that I am now going to be carrying around with me. Thank you.
I'm terrified, actually, because he keeps wearing some workout picture, like the workout, like the whiteboard.
Yes, the whiteboards. I'm just like,
making me
feel like a lazy butt today. Thank you.
This is a threat to my life.
Scared. Yes, a little scared over here.
Yeah, but that's happening, and we love him for it, and we appreciate him. Kind of my final thoughts. Happy birthday.
I do actually think it's gonna be epic because that Untitled song that he shared with us was so good.
Oh my God.
I am so excited to see the rest of it.
Me too. Oh my God. It's gonna be so good, Kate. Okay. So good. Okay, we gotta wrap it up. Okay. My final thoughts. Happy birthday, Namjoon. He's amazing, he's fantastic. I love being having someone to point to as an Asian American and be like, they're so amazing and they're also Asian. Oh my God, Kate, I'm so happy for your kids. They're gonna be so healthy with their Asian identity. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Okay.
Good.
It's gonna be great. Oh my God. But yeah, overall, we love Namjoon. We're happy to be here.
Yes.
Have a wonderful day, everyone who's listening. And take care of yourselves. Go listen to Mono. That's self-care.
Go listen to some Namjoon and do some Namjooning.
Yeah, go Namjooning today. That's your homework for today. Go Namjooning. We're academics, so we're all homework oriented.
As your professor, I'm initiating you some homework. Go do some.
Oh my God, I roll. But yeah, thank you all so much for listening. Have a wonderful day. Go Namjooning. Listen to Mono, and remember to stream BTS songs and music. Stream everything BTS. Always stream BTS. We only stream BTS in this household. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye. Bye.
Bye.